there's basically two really instructive moments here. And the first took place back in April. The Trump campaign responded to a comment from a Washington Post story that was asking kind of about their abortion position, basically saying mission accomplished. We got Roe done. Pro-lifers should be happy. It's back with the states, and that's where it ought to be. And that got a lot of these, professional pro-life groups kind of hot around the collar because they all endorse some kind of national federal legislation for abortion. Usually, they treat like a 15-week federal ban with exceptions, which is the thing that Senator Lindsey Graham has introduced since the Dobbs decision. They see that as kind of like their baseline federal policy that they want every candidate to get behind, and specifically every presidential candidate. They really want a Republican presidential nominee to be leading from the front on that. So back in April, when Trump kind of suggested that that wasn't where they were at, he got a lot of this pushback. He got a lot of groups kind of drawing a line in the sand, and he walked it back. He kind of said he didn't endorse the 15-week legislation, but he did make some comments to the effect that there is a federal role to be played here policy wise. Well, now you kind of fast forward to now, and in this interview on Sunday, he was still being very coy about this specific question of whether there's going to be federal action. He at one point said, "Federal, state, I don't really care." What he's apparently interested in now is kind of orchestrating some kind of grand bargain between Democrats and Republicans, between pro-lifers and pro-choice people, kind of finding some weak limit that everybody can agree to, which is interesting to talk about whether that anything like that could ever possibly be. Love your passion, get out there and solve it. But the bigger problem was that he then went on additionally and took some pot shots at Ron DeSantis for signing a 6-week ban in Florida, and basically said, I think that's a terrible thing, a terrible mistake to have that ban there. And that, made a lot of these groups tear out their hair again, because he is still not committing to the kind of federal legislation that they are demanding he commit to. And now, in addition, is kind of for no reason other than to continue to kick Ron DeSantis while he's down, attacking this piece of pro-life legislation that a lot of these groups see as kind of like the gold standard, state standard. And so it's been interesting now to see the somewhat more muted response to these kind of like he's kicking pro-lifers even a little harder than he has in the past. He's not just kind of saying, look, I think I can go this without you. I don't think I need to really be courting your support any longer. But he's actually kind of actively disparaging some signature bills of theirs that, if you're in the pro-life movement and your goal is creating as many abortion restrictions as possible to save as many unborn children as possible, you don't like to hear this kind of thing from Donald Trump. But he is now 40 points in the lead nationally. He's winning in Iowa. He's winning in New Hampshire. He's winning everywhere. And a lot of these groups, particularly the groups like SBA Pro-Life America, which is the one I focused on in the item, these groups that are not necessarily grassroots organizing groups so much as they are legislation pushing groups and kind of influence handling groups in DC, they are already kind of having to seemingly make their peace with the fact that this is going to be their nominee again. He doesn't have deep convictions on the issue, but he was kind of malleable and he went along before. So it's kind of like this, as opposed to what you would have seen in the past, which was always this like, look, here's our lines in the sand. You embrace our policies, or we're likely to oppose you. They're already in this much muddier kind of space where, okay, Donald Trump seems to be the guy. Here's how his mind works. Here's how his ego works. If we hit him too hard, he probably hits us right back, and he's probably stronger than we are right now. So how are we going to get to a position where if he's president, he's not closing the door on us? He's letting us come in and talk to him about our policy stuff. And it's just interesting to see that balance of power shift in just the last couple of months.